Small businesses have a multitude of challenges, but nowadays, getting rapid funding from an alternative lending source is not one of them. If your small business needs a rapid source of funding, and you're also a little concerned about shopping for good rates, you might want to listen to this Biz2Credit review that I'm about to share with you. I think you'll find it worth your while. Biz2Credit is an alternative lender that has been around for over a decade and been very successful at providing a wide variety of loans. This review will cover the strengths and weaknesses of Biz2Credit and a lot of the products they offer, what those products look like, and who they're for. We'll also look at what customers had to say about working with Biz2Credit. My name is Gordon Scott. I'm a small business owner who uses alternative lenders. I'm not a licensed credit advisor, and this review of Biz2Credit is my opinion only. The sponsor is finimpact.com, a must-read website for anyone researching alternative lenders. Check out finimpact.com, and you can find information about a wide variety of loan types and the companies that provide them. Biz2Credit is an alternative lender that has been in business since 2007. Like all alternative lenders, their interest rates are a little steep, but what they offer and the convenience they offer it with might be worth considering for those in just the right circumstances. Biz2Credit offers three different types of loans: term loans, working capital loans, and commercial real estate loans. These loans are generally structured on a repayment schedule of 1 to 3 years. They offer loans as small as $25,000, but as large as $6 million. To qualify for working capital loans, you need to have a credit score of 575, and your business needs to have been running for at least 6 months. For term loans and commercial real estate loans, you'll need to have been in business 18 months and have a credit score over 660. That's a little higher than most alternative lenders, but it gives you an idea of the quality of customer that Biz2Credit wants to cater to. They're looking for slightly more established businesses than usual. And in the case of a commercial real estate loan, they don't want to be your first time. You need to have already owned or currently own a commercial real estate property. No matter what kind of loan you need, your business needs to be producing an annual revenue of over $250,000. Now, for a lot of businesses, these requirements are just basic, but for some small businesses, they might set the bar too high. That's just how Biz2Credit sorts out their potential customers to make sure they're working with those who are likely to be most successful. That's what allows them to offer comparatively competitive rates. For example, some alternative lenders might start off with a minimum interest rate of over 25%. Biz2Credit, on the other hand, offers interest rates as low as 8%. However, it's also important to point out that they do charge an origination fee of 1 up to 6% for initiating the loan, and processing fees of up to $400. So you have to add all of those in together when you're considering this loan, because this increases the payback amount, and if your loan is small, that might be a substantial increase. When working with alternative lenders like Biz2Credit, it's important to remember these loans from alternative lending sources are not cheap. That's because they are convenient and readily available. That's the point of this type of product. So the reason for getting such a loan should be connected to a strong and viable opportunity. If the money you make from these loans could be the difference between significant growth and slow stagnation, then it might be worth considering this kind of lending source. The small business owners that succeed using these loans are those that manage to have a clear understanding of their opportunity and can balance that understanding with the risks that they are taking. Just plain optimism is not enough. The risk should be low and the opportunity very high. So go into these loans with eyes wide open. Now let's take a look at what it takes to apply for a loan from Biz2Credit. Biz2Credit has a pre-qualification app that you can fill out in just a few seconds. It's a very simple application thereafter, though. You choose what kind of loan you want and how much money you need, and whether or not your business is part of an existing franchise. You give some information about the legal structure of your business, what industry you're in, provide your company's tax ID number, and give some information about annual revenue and business operating expenses. Biz2Credit explains that it's an easy 3-step process. Get pre-qualified, complete the online application, and get funded. The online application takes about 15 minutes. The funding can happen in 24 hours or less in some cases. And then, as they say, you get back to business. The pre-qualification application does a soft credit pull. Now, you might not know the difference between a soft or a hard credit pull, so let me give you a quick explanation. A soft credit pull, as explained by thebalance.com, does not affect your credit score. It's actually a mechanism that banks use for pre-qualification. They look over information collected by a third party other than the major rating agencies, and they get an idea of whether or not you're qualified to go ahead and take this loan. Legally, they don't even have to ask permission to do that because, in theory, it's not going to affect your credit score. A hard credit pull is actually going to one of the major reporting agencies. And of course, that will affect your credit score. But it's important to understand that in the pre-qualification, the lender only does a soft credit pull. Now, once you take the loan, that is the equivalent of a hard credit pull as well. Depending on how much of a loan you take and the health of your business, the impact to your credit score will vary. But if you complete the loan and then pay it all the way back, that can actually help improve your credit score a few months later. But just be aware that the process of applying and then taking the loan will have an impact on your credit. So just what do customers think about Biz2Credit and how well it does its job? Let's check out what customers have said about them on Trustpilot and the Better Business Bureau. Biz2Credit has a nice 4.6 out of 5 rating on Trustpilot with over 14,000 reviews. But a surprising 10% of them rated Biz2Credit as bad. I decided to take a closer look at the bad reviews to see what I could find. In that grouping of bad reviews, I found that there were a number of complaints about poor communication with customers and poor customer service practices. So I decided to check the Better Business Bureau website to see what I could find there. Shockingly, they have a D rating with the Better Business Bureau. That's not a good look. Now, to be fair, if you review the customer complaints there on the Better Business Bureau site, what you find are a lot of complaints associated with PPP loans. These were loans that were given during the pandemic under special circumstances. And there were a lot of squirrely moving parts with them, so it's not unusual that customers had a lot to complain about with the way that the government and the lenders were working with this new and temporary product. Biz2Credit is no longer offering those loans now, so it may have been a temporary situation that just went away. Because the company's long-term track record is still very good. As mentioned before, Biz2Credit has been around a long time and they're very successful at what they do. They also have a lot of customers saying they are pleased with the service that Biz2Credit provides. So I'd recommend you dig into the details and have a closer look for yourself. You can find the full review and more details on finimpact.com.